Hey friends, welcome back to College Sports Corner. I'm Barry. We're here with our Week 7 review. Looks like it's going to be another great weekend of good games. We've been blessed this year to have great games every weekend, have some upsets, really close games. We've had some blowouts too. But it looks like it's lining up to be another good Saturday. So let's get with it with some news and headlines. But first, before we do that, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers about the show. If you like it, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. And let's get to it. More bad news for LSU. Cornerback Eli Ricks is out for the season. They say he's having season-ending surgery. I was looking, I couldn't find what exactly the injury was. I don't know if they're keeping it hush-hush or just nobody mentioned it. But anyway, that's some more bad news LSU doesn't need. Okay, here's something kind of, I don't know if you call it weird or what, but Conference USA pitches regionalization concept to the AAC and the Sun Belt. It would align all the teams in those leagues between the three leagues. I guess kind of like a merger or something. Anyway, that's what they were proposing, but the AAC and Sun Belt, they said, yeah, I don't know. So I don't know if that's dead in the water or still up in the air or whatever, but that's the days we're in college football. Okay, Penn State coach James Franklin said, my players' injuries at Iowa were real. Evidently, there's a lot of fans, and I think even probably some on the Iowa staff thought that those fake injuries at Penn State during Penn State game were just to stop the clock. It happens. We all see it. We all see all of a sudden guy standing, all of a sudden he just falls down. So anyway, James Franklin says no, those injuries were real, so shut up. So I don't know. Here's some cool news. It's kind of good news, bad news type. Tulsa punter Lachlan Wilson had 3 punts of 50 yards and placed 4 punts inside the 20 last week. Like I said, that's good for him, but it's bad for Tulsa. They're 2-4 this year, so if they're having all these punts and everything, you can tell they're not doing very good. So, like I said, good news, bad news, But anyway, congratulations to him on such a good effort. Here's some really cool news. A lot of you might remember Eric LeGrand, the Rutgers player who was injured 11 years ago. I believe he was on a kickoff during the Army game. In case some of you don't know his story or some of you forgot, in that game he was injured. He was paralyzed from the neck down. Well, Rutgers, they put him in the Rutgers Athletic Sports Hall of Fame this past Saturday. Like I said, he was paralyzed from the neck down, but in recent years, he's got movement back in his shoulder areas, and he's got sensation through his body now. So he's improving. But anyway, yeah, congratulations to him for getting into the Rutgers Athletic Hall of Fame. Good for you, man. And he was on TV a couple times too in the last several years, breaking down games. That I think it's a CBS halftime report. He did really good. I'm surprised he didn't go into TV more, but he's got his own things going. I think he's got a coffee going, that coffee brand too now or something like that. Okay, week 7, we still have 3 winless FBS teams. Arizona, UNLV, and UConn. All 3 of them still have not won a game yet this year. So maybe they'll get one here pretty soon. We'll see. Okay, Tuesday night, we had a pretty good Sun Belt. Well, we thought it was going to be a pretty good Sun Belt game. You have 2 4-1 teams going at it. And it turns out it's kind of lopsided. Louisiana won that one 41-13. Raging Cajuns, they dominated this game from the start. App State never led once in this game. Louisiana just kept mowing all over them. So anyway, we thought it was going to be a good game. It's kind of lopsided, but heck, college football on a Tuesday night, you can't argue with that. Okay, so tonight, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, Navy 1-4 versus Memphis 3-3. Navy's averaging 283 total yards. Memphis is averaging 498 total yards. Get this though, the Navy, they're only averaging 63 passing yards a game, where Memphis is averaging 323 passing yards a game. So, like I said before, it's weird that Navy's 1-4 this far into the season, but I guess it is what it is this year. 7:30 Eastern on ESPNU, Georgia Southern 2-4 at South Alabama 3-2. Georgia Southern is averaging 381 total yards. South Alabama is averaging 358 total yards. Tomorrow night, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, ESPN. Clemson 3-2 at Syracuse 3-3. Clemson is averaging 324 total yards a game, and Syracuse is averaging 412 total yards a game. The Orangemen average more yards in rushing and passing and total. All three of those stats are averaging more than Clemson is. So you never know. Clemson might be 3-3 by late tomorrow night. 7 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Network. Marshall 3-3 at North Texas 1-4. Marshall's averaging 515 total yards a game, and North Texas is averaging 416 total yards a game. Marshall quarterback Grant Wells has passed for 2,003 yards this year so far. He's averaging 334 passing yards a game, so they got a pretty good quarterback there. Late one, 10:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. San Diego State 5-0 at San Jose State 3-3. San Diego State's averaging 370 total yards, and San Jose State's averaging 323 total yards. 10:30 Eastern on ESPN, another late one. California 1-4 at Oregon 4-1. California is averaging 407 total yards. Oregon is averaging 421 total yards. But the Bears quarterback, Chase Garbers, has 1,245 passing yards this season. So they looks like a decent quarterback there. I guess none of the other guys on the team can play very well. But anyway, there it is. Okay, here we go. Saturday. Here are your pregame shows that I could find. Game day is going to be at the Georgia-Kentucky game, as is SEC Nation. They're going to be there also. Big Ten tailgate is going to be a Wisconsin and Army game. And I was looking for Fox Noon kickoff. I couldn't find where they're going to be. Maybe you'll find it later today or so, but I'm sure they'll be advertising it on TV or something. All right, noon Eastern on the SEC Network. Texas A&M 4-2 at Missouri 3-3. Aggies are averaging 377 total yards. Tigers are averaging 467 total yards. Tigers have better rushing, passing, and total yards over the Aggies. This could be a trap game for A&M, coming off that big win against Alabama last week. Even Jimbo Fisher was talking to the media, telling his players, "Hey, this is a trap game. We need to be careful on this one." So, first game of the day. Hey, why not check it out? You never know. It might be a trap game. Hopefully not. Being an Aggie fan, hopefully not. But noon Eastern on FS1. Michigan State 6-0 at Indiana 2-3. Spartans are averaging 487 total yards. Hoosiers are averaging 344 total yards. Spartans quarterback Peyton Thorne has 1,576 passing yards this year and 14 touchdowns. Noon Eastern on ESPN2. Nebraska 3-4 at Minnesota 3-2. Cornhuskers are averaging 493 total yards, and Minnesota is averaging 334 total yards. And remember how we always talk about, and everybody talks about how Nebraska's like this close to having a great record, but penalties and shooting themselves in the foot every week, mistakes. Well, they have 40 penalties for 324 yards this year. I looked that up. I was like, that's not helping them. Noon Eastern on Big Ten Network. Rutgers 3-3 at Northwestern 2-3. Rutgers is averaging 355 total yards. And Northwestern is averaging 367 total yards. Noon Eastern on CBS. Auburn 4-2 at Arkansas 4-2. Tigers averaging 451 total yards. Razorbacks are averaging 460 total yards. Both these teams are very close in rushing yards and total yards. This actually is probably going to be a pretty good game. I'm going to check that one out too. Set that one up on the iPad while I'm watching the Aggies on TV. So I'll be a pretty good SEC West battle. Noon Eastern on the ESPN. Florida 4-2 at LSU 3-3. Florida is averaging 504 total yards. Tigers averaging 380 total yards. And the Gators are in fourth place in the East, which is kind of weird for Florida right now. You figured they'd be 1 or 2, but it said fourth place, so I'm going to trust them. Noon Eastern on Fox. Oklahoma State 5-0 at Texas 4-2. Cowboys are averaging 378 total yards. Longhorns are averaging 480 total yards. Longhorns have better rushing, passing, and total yards over Oklahoma State. But Oklahoma State plays pretty good football. The game's in Austin, so the home crowd will probably help out the Longhorns, but that might be another one to watch instead. Noon Eastern on ABC. Central Florida 3-2 at Cincinnati 5-0. Central Florida is averaging 470 total yards, and Cincinnati's averaging 438 total yards. And Bearcat quarterback Desmond Ridder has 1,304 passing yards and 12 touchdowns. Noon Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Yale 2-2 at UConn 0-7. Yale is averaging 374 total yards, and UConn is averaging 273 total yards. So I don't know about that one. Noon Eastern on ESPN Plus. Ohio 1-5 at Buffalo 2-4. Ohio's averaging 346 total yards a game, and Buffalo's averaging 411. Noon Eastern on ESPNU. Tulsa 2-4. South Florida 1-4. Tulsa's averaging 444 total yards, and South Florida's averaging 333 total yards. 12:30 Eastern on CSS. I guess that's Comcast Sports Network. I guess that's their channel or their streaming, whatever. Duke 3-3 at Virginia 4-2. Duke is averaging 407 total yards a game, and Virginia's averaging 525 total yards a game. And Cavaliers quarterback Brennan Armstrong has passed for 2,460 yards this year so far, 17 touchdowns. 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. Ball State 3-3 at Eastern Michigan 4-2. Ball State's averaging 319 total yards, and Eastern Michigan is averaging 357 total yards. 2:30 Eastern ESPN Plus. Akron 2-4 at Miami of Ohio 2-4. Zips are averaging 346 total yards. Miami of Ohio 379 total yards. Let's see. 3 p.m. Eastern ESPN Plus. Troy 3-3 at Texas State 2-3. Troy's averaging 349 total yards, and Texas State is averaging 346 total yards. 3:30 Eastern on the ACC Network. Miami 2-3 at North Carolina 3-3. Miami's averaging 438 total yards a game, and Tar Heels are averaging 486 total yards a game. Quarterback Sam Howell for the Tar Heels has 1,697 passing yards and 16 touchdowns. North Carolina is one of those teams that we thought was going to be really good, and they've kind of fallen off. And then one week they'll kick major ass, and next week they'll look like a peewee team. It just, you don't know what you're going to get with them. But he's put up decent numbers this year. It's a shame that they don't have the record to show for it. And Kane's quarterback De'Aaron King out the rest of the year. So there you go with that one, Miami fans. 3:30 Eastern on ESPN to Pitt 4-1 versus Vautech 3-2. Pitt is 554 total yards averaging a game, and the Hokies are averaging 329 total yards. Man, I'm still impressed with this Panthers quarterback, Kenny Pickett. He's got 1,731 total yards, 19 touchdowns, and only one interception. Pitt's got the higher rushing, passing, and total yard average for each game. But they are playing in Blacksburg. We know how it gets down there. 3:30 Eastern, Pac-12 Network. Arizona 0-5 at Colorado 1-4. Arizona's averaging 363 total yards, and Colorado's only averaging 240 total yards a game. This could be the Wildcats' chance to break this losing streak. Colorado's not that good of a team, and they're not putting up very good numbers. So if you're a Wildcats fan, this could be it. This could be to get off that list and leave only 2 left FBS winless teams. 3:30 Eastern, ABC. Purdue 3-2 at Iowa 6-0. Purdue's putting up 415 total yards. Iowa's putting up 316 total yards. There's some crazy talk online about how the only good team Iowa's played is Penn State, so they're not really proven and all that. And Purdue's got a good chance of beating them, so we'll see how that goes. A lot of people talk online, and a lot of them know what they're talking about. A lot of them don't, so we'll see. 3:30 Eastern, ESPN Plus. Bowling Green 2-4 at Northern Illinois 4-2. Bowling Green's putting up 292 total yards a game. Northern Illinois is averaging 380 total yards. 3:30 Eastern, CBS Sports Network. Toledo 3-3 at Central Michigan 3-3. Toledo's putting up 392 total yards, and Central Michigan is putting up 461 total yards. That's not too bad. 3:30 Eastern, ESPNU, Kent State 3-3 at Western Michigan 4-2. Kent State is averaging 464 total yards, and Western Michigan is averaging 402 total yards. Kent State quarterback Dustin Crum has passed for 1,303 yards this year, but he's only passed for 6 touchdowns. Western Michigan quarterback Caleb Elby has passed for 1,438 yards and 9 touchdowns this year. Here's a pretty big one everybody's talking about. 2:30 Eastern, or 3:30 Eastern, CBS, I'm sorry. Kentucky 6-0 at Georgia 6-0. Kentucky, they average 213 rushing yards a game, 198 passing yards, and 410 total yards. Georgia's averaging 197 rushing yards, 235 passing yards, and 433 total yards. Because Kentucky quarterback Will Levis has more passing yards and TDs than Stinton Bennett, I'm sorry. So, looks like it's going to be a pretty good game. A lot of people are saying the same thing about Kentucky. They're not saying about Iowa, but hey, you never know. 3:30 Eastern, ESPN, BYU 5-1 at Baylor 5-1. BYU's averaging 403 total yards a game, and Baylor's averaging 461 total yards a game. BYU's already beaten Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah. So you know they're looking to add a 4th Power 5 team to their resume of beating. So Baylor quarterback Jerry Bohannon's got 1,337 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and no interceptions. 3:30 Eastern on FS2. Fresno State 4-2 at Wyoming 4-1. Fresno State has 530 total yards a game. Wyoming's averaging 346 total yards a game. Bulldogs quarterback Jake Haener has 2,230 passing yards, 18 touchdowns. He's averaging 372 passing yards a game. If he keeps that up, I don't see why he shouldn't be considered going to New York at the end of the year either. 3:30 Eastern on that stadium. I guess it's a Facebook page or streaming. UAB 4-2 at Southern Miss 1-5. UAB is averaging 361 total yards a game, and Southern Miss is averaging 283 total yards a game. 3:30 Eastern also on that stadium. Western Kentucky 1-4 at Old Dominion 1-5. Western Kentucky is averaging 550 total yards a game. Old Dominion is averaging 346 total yards a game. Hilltoppers quarterback Bailey Zapp has 2,235 passing yards, 21 TDs. He averages almost 450 passing yards a game, but yet they're 1-4. I mean, with those numbers, you figure they might be the other way around, 4-1 or something. But it's weird how things work out, isn't it? 4 p.m. Eastern, ESPN Plus. Texas Tech 4-2 at Kansas 1-4. Red Raiders are averaging 458 total yards a game. Jayhawks are averaging 331 total yards a game. 4 p.m. Eastern on SEC Network. Vanderbilt 2-4 at South Carolina 3-3. Vandy's averaging 311 total yards a game, and South Carolina is averaging 336 total yards a game. 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. Rice 2-3 at UTSA 6-0. Rice is averaging 350 total yards a game, and Roadrunners are averaging 454 total yards a game. Roadrunners quarterback Frank Harris has 1,475 passing yards and 12 touchdowns. He's averaging 246 passing yards a game. So you can see why they're 6-0. 7 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Utah State 3-2 at UNLV 0-5. Utah State's averaging 494 total yards, and UNLV's averaging only 282 total yards. Aggie quarterback Logan Bonner has passed for 1,235 yards and 9 touchdowns so far this year. He's averaging 247 yards a game. 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Alabama 5-1 at Mississippi State 3-2. Bama is averaging 473 total yards, and Mississippi State is averaging 429 total yards. Bama quarterback Bryce Young has 1,734 passing yards and 20 touchdowns. And Bulldogs quarterback Will Rogers has 1,862 passing yards and 14 touchdowns. Not saying that Bama's going to go in there and lose a second one in a row, but Mississippi State does put up some good numbers, and that stadium does get loud, especially with all the cowbells going. So if you don't watch it, it may be something to keep an eye on the score or something. 7 p.m. Eastern on the stadium. Colorado State 2-3, and New Mexico 2-4. Rams are averaging 385 total yards a game, and Lobos are averaging 283 total yards a game. 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. Liberty 5-1. Louisiana Monroe 2-3. Flames are averaging 445 total yards a game, and Warhawks are averaging 238 total yards a game. Liberty quarterback Malik Willis has 1,327 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, and he also has 498 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. I know they keep a short list of who goes to New York, but there's a lot of guys this year to keep an eye on, and for some of these sports writers and former Heisman winners to keep on their short list. I mean, 7:30 Eastern on ACC Network. North Carolina State 4-1 at Boston College 4-1. Wolfpack is averaging 434 total yards. And the Eagles are averaging 405 total yards. NC State quarterback Devin Leary has 1,283 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, and he's averaging 257 passing yards a game. 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Iowa State 3-2 at Kansas State 3-2. Cyclones averaging 442 total yards a game, and Wildcats are averaging 360 total yards a game. 7:30 Eastern on ABC. TCU 3-2 at Oklahoma 6-0. TCU is averaging 446 total yards a game, and the Sooners are averaging 472 total yards a game. I think the big quarterback this week, or big news this week, is about the quarterback at OU. Who's going to start? It's going to be Spencer or Caleb. I think even Lincoln Riley shut down practice or something. He got pissed off over something some student wrote about the quarterback situation and all that. I really didn't dive too deep into the story, but evidently he's pissed off about something up there. So I guess we'll find out who starts Saturday night. 7:30 Eastern, ESPNU. Stanford 3-3 at Washington State 3-3. Stanford's averaging 352 total yards a game, and Washington State 374 total yards a game. Stanford quarterback Tanner McKee has thrown for 1,449 yards, 12 touchdowns. He's averaging 242 passing yards a game. 7:30 Eastern on SEC Network. Ole Miss 4-1 at Tennessee 4-2. Ole Miss averaging 562 total yards a game. The Volunteers are averaging 474 total yards a game. Both are evenly matched in the rushing game. Rebels have a slight edge in the passing game. So this could be a pretty damn good game. It wouldn't surprise me if Ole Miss won, and it wouldn't surprise me if they lost. They're just kind of evenly matched. The Vols are playing good this year. Ole Miss, we know, is playing good this year. So, might be a shootout. You never know. 8 p.m. Eastern on Big Ten Network. Army 4-1 at Wisconsin 2-3. Army's averaging 388 total yards. Wisconsin is averaging 378 total yards. And Army's got a pretty good run game, so Badgers' run defense might want to step it up a little bit. 8:30 Eastern on Fox. UCLA 4-2 at Washington 2-3. UCLA is averaging 436 total yards, and Huskies are averaging 375 total yards. Bruins have better rushing stats than the Huskies do, but the Huskies have better passing stats. So this could be another slugfest. And it's going to be there in Seattle and Husky Stadium. We know, if you watch college football, you know how loud that place gets. 9 p.m. Eastern, ESPN Plus. Louisiana Tech 2-3, UTEP 5-1. Louisiana Tech is averaging 412 total yards a game, and UTEP is averaging 388 total yards a game. Both quarterbacks in this game have similar stats. This could be another shootout. If you're looking for something to put on the side on your phone or something to keep an eye on. 9 p.m. Eastern, FS1. Air Force 5-1 at Boise State 3-3. Air Force has 424 total yards each game, and Boise State is averaging 367 total yards a game. Falcons, they outrush Boise, but Boise outpasses Air Force. So, trade off could be another slugfest. Who knows? All right, late night college football owls. We got two. Two's going to keep us up late. 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Arizona State 5-1 at Utah 3-2. Sun Devils average 442 yards a game. Utes average 390 yards a game. Right now, I'm still saying Arizona State's probably going to win the South Pac-12, but still got a whole half season to go, so we'll see. 10:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Hawaii 3-3 at Nevada 4-1. Hawaii is averaging 418 yards a game, and Nevada is averaging 443 yards a game. Both teams have great passing game. Nevada holds a slight edge. You never know. Could be another slugfest. Looks like we got quite a few of them. That's it. So get back to work. Quit screwing around. Turn off the computer. Hey, if you like it, like I said before, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a beat. We will be back Monday or Tuesday night to do the preview of Week 7. Not sure yet. I'm going to try to do it on Monday night because, like I said before, my shift has changed at work. Guy left my station, went to another fire station, so I got his shift. And anyway, yeah. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy your football. Be safe. And we will see you back, like I said, Monday or Tuesday. All right? Take it easy.